out there, and here we are with more Subnautica Below Zero, and I got another movie to review. Sorry it's taken so long for me to do another video. My sleep schedule's been out of whack because of when I was sick, and then my hard drive with everything on it, 5 terabyte hard drive, decided it wanted to die. Luckily, my file for Subnautica saved to the computer itself and not the external hard drive. Taken a few days because, well, I've been kind of unmotivated by the fact of my hard drive dying. Kind of hit me mentally for a moment. Along with some other things going on in my life. Anywho, the movie I'm going to review today is called The Homecoming. It's a really good old movie. I actually kind of like it a little bit better than the last one I reviewed, Christmas Comes to Willow Creek. Don't tell me I don't have the advanced wiring kit. I thought I'd got everything. But anyways, it's actually kind of a pilot to a TV show, though only some of the original actors went to the TV show. The TV show is called The Waltons. Now, more of you might know of that title. Some of you may not. It's an older show, so some of you that are watching YouTube probably won't even know it. Actually, Waltons was a old show that me and my mom used to watch all the time. When it came to our TV shows, we always got along for those. And Waltons is one of those ones I really liked. Good old wholesome family fun, you know? Yeah, it's like Waltons, Roseanne. Yeah, we used to watch Roseanne. We used to watch some of her soaps with her. The only one I really liked was As the World Turns. Growing up, we didn't have the greatest of relationships, but when it came to our shows, we always got along. I have a real soft spot for these shows even to today. And as of this moment, yes, my mom is still around, though she is having some health issues. This movie came out in 1971. Yes, I actually looked it up before I started doing the review. Like I said, it's an older family show, and like I said, this was basically the pilot. The actors that played the kids and the grandmother are the only actors to go to the TV show. Which, I'm not a huge fan of some of the actors that played the adults in this one. I actually saw the TV show first, so I do like some of the actors in the show a little better, though I don't think the actress who did the mother in the TV show could have portrayed the role just as good, in the movie version. Her personality was a little different for some reason. Yeah, the mother in the TV show was a little more carefree, and the one in the movie was a little more strict. Different acting styles. And same with the grandfather. There's big differences. The actor and the character from the show was fun-loving. And not that this grandfather wasn't fun-loving, but he just felt way different. And they don't even show him very often. So it's kind of hard to really get a portrayal of him. But anyways, in the movie, the father is out making money. I looked up when the movie was made, but I did not look up when the time of the Waltons is. And actually, the Waltons is based off a true story written by a man by Earl Hamner Jr., which is actually the character of John Walton Jr. Basically, the names were changed, but still supposed to be the same people. But I'm not sure what the time period was. I'll have to look it up on that one. But I do know it was during the Depression time, because the father's off, making money so they can have food and stuff. In the show, he had his own lumber mill. So we don't actually even see him most of the movie. there's a running thing in the movie where John Walton Jr. or Earl Hamner's character, or because again, this is based off his life. And by the way, he is the narrator that occasionally speaks up. I looked that up to make sure. I was pretty sure it was him, but I wanted to be for sure before I started talking about the movie. And unfortunately, I think Earl Hamner is now passed on. Last time I looked, yeah, he died in 2016. I had the IMDb page pulled up. Yeah, March 24th, 2016, at the age of 92. I actually want to get a hold of the books, and read the real version, because, when they transferred over to TV, they probably changed a lot of things. And obviously, some of the things in the movie don't match up with the TV show. Like, Ike seemed like a real strict person. And of course, the mother seemed strict too, for that matter. Like I said, father's not around at the moment, but, it's not because he doesn't want to be. He's just, he's taking care of his family. These were, during the times of the recession, it was really hard to make money locally, so they sometimes had to travel. Yeah, they have a lot of kids. This is back in time before birth control of any kind. They're all getting ready for Christmas. In fact, I think it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. Father's supposed to be home that day, but he's way later than he's supposed to be. You come to find out that the bus he was on had an accident. However, he was not on it. But again, that's stuff you find out later. Now, the character who I talked about playing Ike actually runs the general store. And in the show, actually, he later becomes a cousin-in-law. They married. He ended up marrying one of their cousins. One of the mother or father's cousins. I can't remember which. You also got characters known as the Baldwin ladies. Again, played by different actors in the TV show. Though these ones, I think, would have done okay in the TV show. They, you had the serious sister, and then you had the sister who seemed like she had some mental issues. Or she just could not get out of her teen years. Always talking about an ex-boyfriend who disappeared one day. Which, in the TV show, you come to find out that he was actually meeting her at a tree they used to always go to, but her father didn't let her leave, and he was actually going to propose to her that day, and well, she never showed up, so he left, off to war or something. Can't remember. That's stuff for the TV show, which I highly recommend the TV show. Even if you don't like the movie, I love the movie, but I love the TV show more. So yeah, most of the movie, they're just all kind of worried about the father. Like, okay, where is he? Why is he so late? This is back when all they had was radios. Phones were hit and miss. In fact, I think in the show they always had to go to the general store to use the phone. And of course had to pay to use it. Back in the days of the payphone. I actually think payphones should still exist today, but in the beginning of the movie, John Boy's going out milking the cow. They had one cow on there. I can't really call it a farm per se because they only have the cow. And they never really, even in the show, they never show a garden, but it feels like a farm when you look at it. So I think they did have a little bit of a farm where they grown their own food. Hopefully you've watched it before you came here. If you haven't watched it, go watch it and then come back. There's a scene in the movie where their little friend, who's a little black boy, which is during this time is uncommon. In fact, this is still the time where, they do show this. The church is actually segregated. They have specifically a black church. I hate segregation. Again, I've talked about before. I do not promote hate. Really, I had made it. I had made the advanced wiring kit. But the little black boy shows up and he's like, "Hey, there's a missionary down at the store. Yeah, let's giving out free gifts and stuff." And the mother's like, "No, no, no, we're not gonna get charity." She was kind of a proud woman, but they're like, "Oh, there's no harm in going down and just watching, is there?" So she gives in. But they weren't just necessarily giving out toys. They made it where you had to answer a Bible quiz. So I guess it's not really charity if you have to earn it, is it? Well, the youngest sister has been wanting a doll. It's like a running thing for her. She wants a doll, which is normal for girls of that time period to want dolls. And it's not uncommon these days for a girl to want a doll. My daughter's way past that age. She's not into dolls at all now. She's a little old for toys in general, though she loves her Grogu. Mary Ellen, the oldest, is helping all the kids out by telling them the answers to the different Bible verses that they had to answer. And so was John Boy, which, for those of you who haven't seen this, John Boy is played by the actor who played in It played by Georgie's older brother. I need to rewatch the movie It. Great movie. Well, half of it is a great movie. So, I'm a little off topic here, but I've got to point this out. Both It movies ran into this problem. The child actors were great. And even though they, at least in the original TV movie, they had great actors for some of the adults, yet somehow they still fell short. And the actor who played John Boy, he played in there too. He fell short too, which I'm surprised. I had seen him in other things, and he did a really good job in the other things. But for some reason, the adult actors in both It movies just kind of sucked. My opinion, like the kids did way better. Usually, it's the kids that's like you expect that not to be that great. Mary Ellen and John Boy are helping all the little kids out, answering the Bible questions. Well, eventually, they helped Elizabeth answer a question. The littlest sister, the one who wanted the doll, and it did turn out to be a doll she got, but the face was smashed in. This is the one problem about charities. They, especially back then, it was even worse back then. Nowadays, not so bad. We've fell in hard times and had to accept some charity. And we've gotten good stuff from the charity from churches. And my kids love the stuff they got. Hey, hell, heck, even last year we were in a hotel and we were really on hard times, and all of our money was going to pay the hotel. Church charity helped us, not just the kids, but us adults too. Gave us some clothes and stuff. It was awesome. Older times, it was not as great, so, to say the least. And as you can, like I said, the doll's face is all smashed up. Oh, early in the day, this guy shows up with a turkey and gives it to the family. And it's like, the grandmother's suspicious. Comes back to the mom and the charity thing, because wouldn't this be counted as charity, as the guy was donating them a turkey? Yeah, she could be a little hypocritical at times. The thing is, this guy had actually been for years at Christmas and Thanksgiving time, had been stealing from supermarkets turkeys and hams. Now, nobody knew it, of course, that it was him. He had a special name. I'll have to... Oh, I can't remember the name. I'll have to post it here, where, you know, once I figured it out. The grandmother's very suspicious. I don't see any bullet holes. That's because I got it right through the head. Because he had it, supposedly he had it plucked and gutted and stuff for her already. Which, again, as we know, he's actually the bandit who had been stealing all this food. But he's been giving it to families in need. And normally the family goes hunting themselves. Actually, normally it's the father who goes out hunting. So he kind of knew the father hadn't had a chance to, because he knew he wouldn't be coming home till that day. He decided to bring them one. He's actually an old friend of the family's. It sounds like, though we never see him in the TV show, and well, I'm kind of not surprised. If it's canon to the movie, well, we'll get to that later. Now, a running thing with John Boy is he's always hiding something under his bed and almost getting caught every time. Now, as the viewer, we know what it is because it actually shows him shoving it under his bed. He's got a tablet, which not a tablet you would think of as today tablet. More, it was a writing tablet, paper, because obviously they didn't have that kind of technology back then. Basically, he's having a journal, which TV show in this movie based off a true story, and well, we can see where when he started writing was about this time apparently. But he's wanting to hide it. He doesn't want anybody to know for some reason. Like I said, it's like a journal, and eventually his mom does find out what it is, and because she can't, you know, one of the times she came in, she finally was like, "What are you hiding under the mattress? Are you smoking cigarettes?" Back then, smoking cigarettes wasn't that a bad thing. Nowadays it is, but you know. But yeah, she's like, "Oh, well, actually, I think one of the reasons why he was hiding it because he was afraid of what his father would think." Because, you know, his father's like, you need to get a trade, you need to get a trade. Well, we've found out that, you know, at this point in the movie, that about the bus getting overturned, and Mom's like, I need you to do something, and now the kids don't know about, you know, the bus overturning. I went to the wrong place. I was going into the base. So she's like, I got a man's job for you. You know, I need you to go down to the general store and see if you can get a ride from our friend, the poultry bandit or whatever he's called. But of course, back she didn't call him that. She called him by his name, which I can't remember his name. He's such a minor character. Yeah, see, at this time in the show they have vehicles, but in the movie at this point in time they don't. In the show, they have the lumber mill. They need the truck, so it was an expense they had to get. So that was something they eventually did because they needed it. This might be before they had the lumber mill, though. Fluid intake. What are you? Oh, hello. Oh. Yeah, no, that's a little nice to find by accident. I thought there was fishies around here, but I guess there's not. I gotta go back over to the other place to find it. Ugh, but... Well, he gets over there, and the sheriff, who had showed over at Ike's earlier in the day, is there with... what's his name? Arnie Sneed or something? Anyways, poultry man locked up in cuffs, because he was caught. So yeah, he was like, well, I'm kind of under arrest, so I kind of can't take you. I'll give you the key to my car with all the evidence in it, and you can go, go look for your daddy. Which nowadays would not fly. I don't know how it flew back then that he got away with that. Well, here's the thing. His mom gave him a couple of dollars to give for gas. He forgot to get the gas. And he ran out of gas. So this is where the black church comes into play, and he meets a friend of theirs there. Which I think is a recurring character on the show, but I don't think it's the same actor. But he's a really cool guy. They're doing a little play at the church about Jesus of Nazareth. I really do enjoy the song, Some call him one thing. But anyway, yeah. So he's waiting for the pastor, which is his friend. Be like, hey, you got any gas? I'm like, no. I'm not even sure if he had a car. I mean, this is the time where racism was even bigger than today. But he's like, oh, well, but the Baldwin ladies might have it. Well, John Boy's mom is not a huge fan of the Baldwin ladies, which she doesn't have a real good reason to. I mean, she does have a reason, and I wouldn't call it a bad reason, but I've watched the show, I've watched the movie, they're just sweet old ladies. In fact, they don't even realize what they're doing. Well, at least the younger one doesn't. I have my suspicions about the older one, because she's kind of smart. I need more copper. Or not copper, titanium. Their father, who was a judge at one point, he started making something that will end up being known as Papa's Recipe. One thing about this time is it's also during the Prohibition time, where alcohol is illegal. Yes, her father, obviously a corrupt politician, was selling bootleg whiskey. And that was why the John Boy's mama does not like them. But again, they're nice old ladies. And at least the youngest. I don't know about the older one, because like I said, older one is pretty smart. Now, this is also a time period where women didn't get jobs. So, they were kind of limited on what they could do for money after their daddy died. Because they're like little old spinster ladies. They don't have husbands. I may not be able to make any more right now. I don't think I have any more titanium. Well, but they do eventually go over to the Baldwin ladies after his protesting, because they're the only ones who might have gas right now. Now, can't remember if they actually had gas or not, but they end up not using their car. I'm guessing they didn't, because that was kind of, I guess it's a little important, but I don't remember. They chit-chat for a little while before they actually head out. They do have a horse-drawn carriage. And they, try to go around gallivanting on the horse-drawn carriage. They're singing, caroling songs. Well, on their route, they find that the road's blocked by a tree. And John Boy's all prepared to go on further by foot. But they wouldn't let him. So they end up taking him home. Well, Mama not too happy when they show up. Because remember, she don't like the Baldwin ladies. And also, he was supposed to be out looking for his daddy. Which, we know that he had been looking for him, and he wanted to protest on keep going. Mama didn't know that. Well, also, they gave him a thermos of something, which I believe is non-alcoholic, but we don't know for sure. But anyways, it's eggnog, which could potentially be non-alcoholic, but it's not openly said whether it was non-alcoholic. But Mama told him to pour the bootleg whiskey out on the ground, and he's like, "Mama, it's eggnog." And she was like, "Oh." Oh, this is kind of funny. Even Grandma don't like the Baldwin ladies, but in the series, she's teaching Elizabeth how to cook, bake a cake, or it's an old family recipe. You know, she's trying to teach Elizabeth how to bake. Well, Elizabeth's like, "This is good, Grandma, but it's not as good as when you make it. What am I doing wrong?" Well, come to find out, Grandma's like, "Well, they kind of have a secret ingredient." Turns out she had been baking with the bootleg whiskey. It's hilarious. I kind of want to know the rest, not necessarily the recipe for the whiskey, but the recipe for the Grandma's cake. Here's the thing: when you cook with alcohol, the alcohol's burnt off. So by the time people are eating it, there's no alcohol left in it. At some point, I can't remember what point in the movie, but Grandpa heads out to go ring the church bell. I think it's around this time because he's supposed to do it around midnight. Grandma was telling him no, he can't do it. He's like, it's my job to do it. All the other churches are doing it. I'm doing it. And that's the last we see of Grandpa, at least in the movie. In the show, the actor who plays Grandpa ends up dying some point during the show, and they did not replace the actor. And I'm glad they did that. Nobody could have lived up to his role. He was serious when he needed to be, and funny when he didn't need to be serious. Missed him when he died and left the show. And actually, the actress who plays Grandma, we never see her die, but she does have a stroke in real life, and they actually put it in the show. They leave that kind of stuff in. It's good they did that. Everybody goes off to bed except for John Boy and Mama, and she's kind of crying and upset, and they hear something outside, and they're not sure what it was. Next thing you know, Daddy walks in, and he's got a big sack of something. We'll get to that sack in a moment. And Mama and Daddy are talking like, I thought you were dead in a ditch somewhere. I never got on that bus. Yeah, he got tired of waiting because the bus was so delayed that he got tired of waiting and started walking. Which is why it took him so long. Also, we don't see Grandma the rest of the movie after she goes to bed. Well, all the kids come down and Daddy starts telling his tale. It's like, what's in that sack, Daddy? Well, that's a funny story. Which I think I'll get the story, get it wrong. And I think it'd be better if you guys go listen to it yourself. But the short version is he had a little tuffle with Santa Claus. But the story is a little longer than that. And I do recommend you go listen to it because the way he tells it, it's just one of those things. You better to hear it for yourself. I know it, but kyanite. Yes, I did find some kyanite while I was off farming materials. But yeah, so go listen to his little story about his little tuffle with Santa Claus. Yeah, well, anyways, Elizabeth got her doll. The one son who, I haven't pointed this out yet, which doesn't really come into play much in the movie, but does in the show, is a musician. I don't know if he ever became a famous musician. character he was based on. The only one of the brothers I know the real name of is Earl Hamner Jr. You know what? For my curiosity, and I'm sure you guys might be interested, well, some of you, I'll go look that up and post it if I can find it. I don't know if I can, but I'll post it. Now, if you remember me talking about what John Boy likes to do, you know, his writing, you know, and his daddy always telling him he needs to pick a trade and all that. Well, his daddy bought him a big stack of. I don't really believe he got in a tuffle with Santa Claus, but like I said, his daddy got him a big stack of tablets, and he's like, I don't know much about the writing trade, but if that's what you want to do, I'm gonna encourage you, though, you know, do it right, do it well. Which, if this based off a true story, well, obviously it's based off a true story, but if that part is real, well, guess what, Mr. Hamner? Your son did it. Not only became a great writer, he had a TV show, which you may not have known what TV was back then. Which, actually, according to the TV show, the one son did make a TV. It had a really, really tiny screen. But, you know, if you're out there and you can hear somewhere, wherever you're at, man, your son made it. He had a good trade. And not only is he going to be remembered, so is your whole family because of him. And he got his wife some potted flowers. Which, where he got them in the middle of winter, I do not know. I came here because I needed water. Man, that's some high quality H2O. Water boy. Now, for those of you who do want to watch this, by the way, I forgot to mention it at the beginning, it is free on YouTube. I have the DVDs of the original TV show, but unfortunately not the movie. There were a whole bunch of reunion movies, which,
seek fluid intake immediately.
Again, loved watching with my mom. May not have had the greatest of relationship with my mom, but you know what? I can look back and think of those shows with fond memories. Some of my happiest times were watching, you know, TV with my mom. And now I've listened to a lot of Reddit stories, you know, from r/ or Dark Fluff or Ripe. Are a few people that I listen to with these Reddit stories about entitled parents and stuff. It's like, yeah, my mom may not have been the greatest to me. I had this mostly typical middle child syndrome, basically.
Vital signs stabilizing.
You know, where you have the oldest being the golden child and the youngest being the baby, and I'm just there in the middle, getting the leftovers. Hearing some of the Reddit stories, it's like, you know, I didn't have it great, but I didn't have it bad either. And I can at least look back and see that I had some good memories with my mom growing up. And this movie being one of them, and the TV show, and, you know, even though there were some ups and downs with my mom, I will always look at these movies that we watched and TV shows that we watched with great memories. I ran out of battery power. Crap. Those little guys, I think, freeze you, which is not good. I love the reunion movies, though. Never was a huge Brady Bunch fan, but I did love the reunion movies of the Brady Bunch. But all the Waltons. Oh man, that was a great old TV show. I would like to know what happened to some of them after, not the actors, but the real families after the, you know, did the one really become a musician and all that. there's not much more to say about the movie. I'll put a link in the description about in so you can find it, so you can watch it. Well, have fun out there.